the last meeting that we had is the Lopez students showed up at that meeting. And civic engagement is a philosophy that I have brought into my children's life. I actually encouraged them to listen to the King's speech at Congress. They didn't really care that much as I did, but I encouraged them to let them know this is an important participation that you can be. I heard a lot of feedback from the community, some negative feedback that the students were there. And I'm disappointed by that because I think the students lend voice to something that is important to them and that they are relying on us as voters to help safeguard their life here in Lopez. I also noticed that that important meeting was not posted on the website. I've been following the Lopez Rec website to stay up to date on everything and moving records back with it. So I hope that that was just a mistake that that video wasn't uploaded to the website. Because I think that the voters who may have been looking for information and wanted to hear from the youth that were there, they didn't get an opportunity to. And we need to be listening to them. Okay? They want to stay here. They want to play sports. They don't want to go to high school. I was on Orcas when we unfortunately were seeing that it wasn't going in the direction that we wanted it to. The Orcas community is rallying around us to have sports at our school. They're also willing to take our kids. You know, and my kids want to play for Lopez. So, thank you.
With some ideas about getting a new levy to pass. So I'm rather disappointed in you guys as representing the people to come and go, oh, it's just business as usual, because I think this is huge for our community. The second thing I wanted to say is I believe, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but Jane shared with me that there's some rule that doesn't allow our students to simply transfer out of our district and participate in sports this year if they are unhappy. And I think that already should be out there to the public, being widely discussed, that we have not only not passed this, but kids who want to transfer out don't have an opportunity to play next year. And I think that you guys should be advertising that. So I'm just like going, what are these people thinking of and what are they doing? The third thing, and this comes out of my many discussions with my dear friend Kit, is I think you should think about what the minimum you could ask for that would support existing programs. I think you still were a little tone deaf with what you put on the ballot. So I think your next proposal should cover the costs of existing programs, and maybe our community in the future would want to pay more. But I think we need a levy passed now. And I think you guys should be on it instead of just going, oh, yeah, we're not going to do that. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. So there's my.
Jane Fuller, I'm Salem County Council person for District 3, and I want to thank the Commission for their efforts to get a levy on the ballot that unfortunately was successful. I think that the reduction of 14 cents from the previous levy amount, I understand a lot of work went into arriving at that. It's unfortunate that insufficient number of voters decided to pass that. I think you will have a challenge as a commission in that you all are not on the same page And I think that that is being made very public, and I think that's highly problematic. And I think it sends a very loud message to our community. And so I think you are challenged going forward, elected commissioners. You are not residents on our island, you are elected people. And you are held to a standard just as any elected person is. And so I think a lot of effort is going to need to be made to go into deciding next steps and what you all care about, whether it's actually ensuring that school sports are funded and that after-school programming is secure and that summer programming for parents who really need their kids in programs in the summer is also funded. So I think you have a very big challenge to determine where you all land on this as elected commissioners. So I wanted to share that. I also want to make a request of you, and that is that I be able to attend your working session on the agenda to speak with you about recent conversations I had with our legislative 40 representatives, legislative district 40 representatives. That's Senator Lovelet and Representative Brown. I've spoken with both in the last 2 days about future education spending by the state. I would like to ask that I be a part of your agenda, just as one agenda item, to share with you what I am hearing from the state about the challenges all school districts in the state will continue to face. And therefore, the implications of the decision that was just made by our electorate regarding this levy, and therefore considerations you might want to take as an elected body as to whether to put a levy on again in November. This situation is dire. So I'm just asking if you might consider, today, do you wish, but I would be happy to share with you information I have and any future information I have about what our state is contemplating.
Thank you, Jane. That is public comment for this meeting.
Maybe I've got
You want to add?
Sure. Chris Greason, former school board member, former Lopez school parent. I have not played much of a role in all of this, but my sense is that there's a real common desire in this group to pass it. I also have a strong sense that in order to pass the levy, it's really important to listen to the no voters, because about 80 of them need to go from no to yes. And if we don't understand why the no voters voted no, we will not get to the point where they can vote yes. And so I don't know what that looks like, but I think it looks like listening not just to the people that really want to vote yes, but also listening to the people that voted no and understand why they voted no. And get yes.
Okay.
I have one more thing. There will be funding in the future.
Thank you. Public comment is finished for this meeting. Our next item of business is committee updates. First up is budget committee, and John, you have an update for us?
Yeah, so since last time, we have met with the state auditor, the official who has been assigned to provide support to us. So Denny and I met with her. Her name is Dina, and We got a bunch of forms. We need to set up to be set up as an entity. We need to exist from the perspective of the state, and we have not gotten to that yet. But we are working toward it, and we figure out that okay, the first step that we could actually take was to open a mailbox, and then Jenny did that, and with that, then we can get an EIN number in order to even submit an application to the state auditor office. Anyway, so that is underway. And without that, we can't do so many other things. So we need to exist first, and that was the first step that we took. So we are waiting to exist to take the next step. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, from the state's perspective, yeah. Yes. Yeah, well, we actually met a couple of times, and most recently, I think I tried to get a meeting, but I think Kit was not as motivated based on the election results. But we did make some progress. We did a lot of research, try to look at different could look at different districts that are comparable to us in terms of size and not so more recently established, and try just to we discussed about how we should move forward. I was trying to err on the side of having more policy since I'm not as familiar with serving on public commission like this. Kit has a lot of experience, and he thinks that common sense would be sufficient. But for me, I don't have that. And so we try to look at what other districts have done in terms of policies that have been laid out, bylaws, and so on. And most of them, I say, have more detailed bylaws or policy manual than what we have currently. And also, there are some specific policies that might also be useful as well for us to have. For example, for us to be able to accept donations. Some districts, have very clear policies about the procedure, like what to do regarding that, what are the considerations, whether or not to accept donations. Anyway, so I know that the policy is not on the agenda, but I would like to propose that we consider two sets of policy next time. Since I didn't get to meet with Kit before this meeting, so this is just coming from me, and so I would like to propose that we have donation acceptance policy draft to be considered next time, and also a more detailed board policy, policies dealing with operations of the board, not nothing to do with the director or employees. That's for the future. But I feel like just the procedures, the details of how the board should conduct its business, I feel like it would be helpful, at least for me, and perhaps also for the community members to have a clear idea on how we operate. So I would like to propose, that we discuss those two drafts at the next policy, at the next rec meeting.
Direction from the board the commissioner, was to set policies for the commission only. So that's what you're asking is additional what was originally requested.
I'm sorry, so explain that a little further.
So we were looking at policy for the board, the commissioners, policy.
So the board operations.
Yeah.
One of the policies shown.
Right. So I'm just making it clear that the second policy on donations is not a direction of the board, and I think that's what she's asking.
Oh, to add
Well, I heard both things, so how far did you get, or did you, on creating policies for our,
We're still
internal operations?
research information, and that information I haven't received yet. So, when I get that from Chong, then we'll look at it again and bring it back.
Budget committee is a standing update in our committee updates. I think if you include draft policies in the board packet, we can review those before the meeting And then during your update, we can have the discussion and decide whether we want to remove those policies or not.
Okay.
I think that's kind of how it would go. It's part of the budget committee update.
Yeah,
We would need draft policies though to speak about, not creating them at the meeting.
no.
I'd rather be at
Yeah,
discussion.
because we didn't have a chance to meet, I couldn't get a time from Kit to do one more meeting before this. That's why I did not include it, because I didn't, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just saying I support that.
Okay, yeah,
but
yeah,
the-
okay.
the next
So it's up to the
agenda-
committee, right?
I mean, I think that that's the better. Under that, assuming drafts of the policy in the packet for us to review in advance.
Yeah, okay.
Then it becomes something we can take action on during the update section. Or move it to new business if we need to approve it. Yeah, board operations, I think, is a priority, as we identified in the last, or 2 meetings ago, I think it was. And then if you have a draft policy around accepting donations, I see no reason we can't look at that as well.
Mhm.
Is that it, for policy committee?
Yeah,
We have no items under unfinished business. We have no agenda items under new business.
wait, you asked for something about working,
A work session.
work session, yeah.
It doesn't take a motion, you just need the calendar. So it'll be calendared by our chair.
Also, and that is the whole commission,
Yeah,
okay?
what do you mean? All 5 of us go, you mean, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a work
Okay.
session, it's like.
So like a special meeting,
More action.
Yeah, it's not a separate committee, we'll all meet
uh-huh,
today.
No action.
and it can be today,
No action. Word action. So it's
uh-huh,
section. In that, Jane has asked if she can join that speaking session to share information from LD40. Is that right? So expect to hear from our chair. That goes in calendars, and the agenda is posted as well for those meetings. Although typically in a work session, there's not public comment and not board action. So that's what we'll move the conversation about next steps there. I think what I would offer in response to that, and to some of the public comment is, I think there's more of a sense of urgency than you might feel coming from the commission. A lot of activity is taking place, that is not taking place in this room here today. I want to vouch for that, for myself especially. And we also were very careful to make sure that we had certified results before we started talking about the election results, and the election was certified very recently. So a work session soon is, I think, I would say, the best way for us to move forward. So respecting that urgency, trying to keep up the momentum, and having the conversation about where do we go from here, and then taking action at the June meeting regarding which, when and how much, if possible, we can go on the next level.
And how do we respond to Jane's request? Is that something that we need to?
At the work session, she needs to be recognized as someone who can speak. So we
she'll-
can't guarantee it in advance.
So she
We
has
attend
to show up and hope that we,
and request, and then the board has to vote by majority to allow Jane to be a speaking member of the work session.
thank you.
we could vote right now,
To have Jane be a speaking member on the work session.
or to be what do you call, agenda item, to be included on the agenda next time?
I want Jenny to me.
Every time I've done it, this is my experience, every time I've done it, it's been at the work session where you recognize someone who wants to speak. That's how I think it goes.
But wouldn't it be better to let the public know too, that there will be a presentation on, by Jane on the agenda, so that it's,
I'm just telling you, I don't disagree with that. I've never done it like that, where you approve somebody in advance for speaking who's not a commissioner at a meeting. I don't have opposition to it, that's not the way it's always been done in my experience. So, does anyone have opposition to that?
Is there a reason that
Does
it's
anyone?
always been done that way?
Well, I don't think there's gonna be any objection, is what I think.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I think it's good
Take
to,
straw
to
poll.
provide, to make it clear. Yeah, then we can say that there is a presentation, and I think maybe the community member at large would be interested in hearing what you have to say too, then she's on the agenda. Yeah.
I don't disagree, I'm just saying what my experience tells me.
Seems like if
Why don't
there's
we-
not, it seems like if there's not a problem with doing it, I agree with what Sean was saying is, I think it would be good for other people to hear.
I think the way forward is for us to vote on it now.
Mhm.
If that is not allowable, then we vote on it after.
Jenny will let us know.
We'll check public schools. So that way we can explore it, and if it is allowable that we approve today, that Jane speaks at a work session upcoming, then we can advertise it.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we'll do, yay, nay roll call on Jane being a speaking participant in the work session. Joan, how do you vote?
Sorry, can I amend that to say that Jane will be added as an agenda item on the, at the next meeting?
Okay,
Yeah,
you can call it
yeah.
that.
So like a
motion is
specific,
Jane
yeah,
work session.
yeah, yes.
Yes.
I do, yeah. I want to apologize to you, Candace. I'm not sure what happened about the Zoom recording last time. Um, it did not get recorded. Yeah, and that's why it was not posted. And I think, I don't know if the Mac versus PC interface was, different or not, because when you asked me, I said that it should say recording to cloud, but somehow that option was not available to you. Anyway, somehow, like, there's some miscommunication as Brady was trying to record, and it turned out that even though he said that he was recording, it did not, I don't know where it went. So there was
We can't
no,
find it.
yeah, we
You
couldn't
said
find it,
was
yeah.
recorded.
It sounds like it might be a good idea if that were to ever happen again, that we post that. If people are looking for something.
Yeah,
and they
that's a
don't
good
see it,
idea.
Then they would know.
Right, what happened, yeah, it's not that
And
we did
don't know
not
exactly
post.
what happened. It sounds
Right,
like,
it's just that
but
we couldn't
not
find,
posting it, we don't have it.
yeah. And also, I understand that there is maybe a lot of discussions going on. And just, to address to the point that Jane raised about, the need for all of us to, get on, to be on the same page. I just would like more discussion as a board, honestly, so that we can discuss more, so we can hear each other, so that it's more likely that we'll reach our conclusion as a board. Anyway, I just want to make a request that, when there are a lot of discussions going on, please do include me too, so that I could be part of the discussion. Otherwise, normally the only time I get to talk to, I talk to Kit, I talk to Jenny through the commission work, but I think there's a lot of other work too that needs to happen.
We can't, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we can't speak other, than the individuals. And, it's against three of us to talk. I don't know where that's come from, but.
No, but like right now, like as we are meeting, I hope that this is our opportunity to do work together. I just want to have the opportunity to discuss. Yeah.
I mean, today, regular meetings tend to be pretty stiff and protocol driven by the agenda. A work session
Right.
is something that is more
Work session.
discussion. Part of the reason I suggested a work session between now and the June meeting. That's much more discussion based. There's no action to take.
Mhm.
It's, so I look forward to that conversation taking place.
Okay.
I also think that, our chair, who's deeply committed to this, who's also a member of the communications committee, is not here today, couldn't be here today, is traveling at this time. And so I want that person to be able to be here, because obviously communications is a huge piece of what we need to do between now and if and when we're on the ballot again.
Yeah.
So, and to respect Jenny and her involvement in this initiative from the beginning. I don't know anyone who's been at it longer than Jenny to try and create a Parks and Rec on Lopez.
Yeah.
I think that's part of why I want to push until Jenny's back, because I want to respect her voice and role in this, and her role as communications committee member. So we'll have a work session. Jane will be one of the agenda items, and I think the other agenda items are the big picture about next steps. Where do we go from here? Or what do we, how do we engage the community? How do we look ahead to see when we might go to the ballot again, and if so, how much? All of those big decisions we have to come back to. So a work session would be the place to have that conversation. Any other comments?
Well, I would make a comment in that I've seen on, the people's comments that people in the community might have some ideas. I'd love to hear some of those ideas of maybe not just a levy, maybe there's some other way to supplement whatever we can get a levy passed or whatever, and explore some of those ideas. So I would love if anyone would reach out directly to any of us, myself, post on Lopez Rec, something of what are these great ideas that people believe they have. Besides money raining from the sky.
I would comment on one post that I saw. First of all, I would say quit posting and show up to these things, because that's
Yes.
what government gets done. And to that point, I want to point out Ann Post, who posted that very thing, saying, run for office. Quit belly aching and run for office. Right? I'm preaching to the choir, you're all here watching the sausage get made. But there's a lot of people that sit in their armchairs and toss off things that are inappropriate, that are just wrong, incorrect, and full of assumptions. And so I just appreciate you all for being here. Today's meeting is pretty straightforward, and I think we're about to adjourn. I encourage you to come to the work session, which will be to be determined, because I do think that that's a richer conversation. And of course, Jenny's voice will be there. But you're doing, you're walking the talk, so thank you all.
And I have another request, because it's not going to be a special meeting. It's not a regularly scheduled meeting. Would it be possible, once we agree, on a time that works for everybody, to post just even a placeholder on the calendar session of the Lopez Rocks that says that, okay, there's an upcoming meeting that's coming up. We don't have to post the agenda yet. I know that agenda comes later, but at least just to let people know that, okay, there's an upcoming meeting.
Like a hold the date.
Hold the date, yeah, save the date. Yeah, but like for example, this latest one was not posted until a day or two before the meeting. Yeah. Well, yeah, Lynn or Jenny, yeah.
Yeah, that's again, we need to.
So I
Yeah.
encourage you to ask Jenny to do what you're saying, let's see her and post earlier, for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, if it's something that we all agree on, then we can, say it. Instead of a personal request from me, then it's like, okay, this is what the board has decided that is a good idea to, to just at least, save, have the date on the calendar way in advance, and then the agenda can be added later once it's ready. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good idea. I just want to see if other commissioners, if you also agree with that
I
idea.
think that makes sense. I mean, our regular meetings are the first Thursday of the month, so those don't really need to be posted very far in advance. And I
Right.
assume that that's sort of why they haven't been. The agenda comes out, right before when it's agreed upon. But I get your point of if it's gonna be something, and it's going to be something that's not the first Thursday of the month, that we could let people know. that,
Yeah,
that's
that's
when we are
I don't
planning.
think anyone would disagree with that. It's just a mechanism for telling Jenny to do that.
Well, first, I assume we're gonna have to have an email exchange to get a date that
And
works,
proposed agenda, yes.
that works for people.
As soon as we have a date identified, I
Right.
agree, let's post it.
Okay, great, yeah.
Okay, looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved by Lynn,
Second.
and from Kip. Any discussion? All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, I got it. I just sent it to the date of the times, yeah. So I'm gonna- Why don't I? Oh, I'm here.